Could there be a better, truer example of this life than that of Jesus? Can you not recognize the power that is in his name, Jesus, the Christ made manifest, our God manifesting through the flesh man? Jesus came to the place where he relied wholly upon his deep knowledge or understanding of God, and this is how he did his mighty works. He did not rely upon his own willpower or upon strong, concentrated thoughts. Neither must we rely upon our own willpower nor strong, concentrated thoughts, but upon the will of God. "'Tis not my will, but thine, O God, be done." Will to do the will of God. Do you not think that Jesus willed in all things to do the will of God, or to do what God willed him to do? You will note that very often Jesus is referred to as going unto a high mountain. Whether he physically ascended a high mountain or not, I do not know. This I do know, that we must all ascend to the heights, the very highest in consciousness, to receive our illumination. This height means the very top of the head, and there, if the faculty is not developed, we must develop it by spiritual thoughts. Then from the heart, the love center, we must let love flow forth to balance all, and when this is done, the Christ is revealed. The Son of Man perceives that he is the Son of God, the only begotten Son, in whom the Father is well pleased. Then, with constant love, we must realize this for all. Just stop and think deeply for a moment and realize the countless number of the grains of sand on the seashore, the countless number of drops of water that go to make up the waters of the earth, the countless number of life forms in the waters of the earth. Then realize the countless number of rock particles that are contained in the whole earth, the countless number of trees, plants, flowers, and shrubs upon the earth, the countless number of forms of animal life upon the earth. Realize that all are the outpicturing of the ideal held in the great universal mind of God, that they all contain the one life, the life of God. Then think of the countless numbers of souls born upon this earth. Then realize that each soul is a perfect, outpictured ideal image of God as God sees himself, that each soul is given the same power, expression, and dominion over all that God himself has. Do you not think that God wills or wishes man to unfold these godlike or God-given qualities, and to do the works that God does through the inheritance given man by the Father, the one great universal mind, all, through all, and above all? Then realize that each person is an expression or pressing out from the unseen, the Spirit, into visible form, a form through which God loves to express. When we can realize and accept this, we can truly say as Jesus did, "Behold, a Christ is here." It is in this way that he attained his mastery over the worldly or flesh self. He recognized, claimed, and accepted his divinity, then lived the life just as we must do. Next chapter. After a delay of 8 days, we broke camp on Monday morning and proceeded on our way. The afternoon of the 3rd day out, we came to the bank of a larger river. The stream was about 2,000 feet wide, running bank full, and the current was at least 10 miles per hour. We were told that this stream in ordinary times could be crossed at this place without any inconvenience. We decided to camp until morning and observe the rise and the fall of the water. We were informed that we would be able to cross by bridge further upstream, but to reach this bridge would necessitate a detour of at least 4 days' hard travel. We felt that if the water was receding, it would be better to wait a few days rather than undertake the long detour. It had been demonstrated to us that we need not take any thought as to our provisions, for from the day already referred to, when our provisions were exhausted, the whole company, consisting of over 300 persons, had been supplied with an abundance of provisions from the invisible, as we called it. This supply was maintained for 64 days, until we returned to the village from which we started. Thus far, none of us had any idea of the true significance or meaning of the things we were experiencing. Neither were we able to see that these things were performed by definite law, a law that all can use. When we were assembled for breakfast next morning, we found 5 strangers in camp. They were introduced, and it was mentioned that they were from a party that was camped on the other side of the stream, and were returning from the village of our destination. We thought very little of this at the time, as we naturally supposed they had found a boat and had crossed in it. One of our party said, "If these people have a boat, why can we not use it to cross the stream?" I think all of us saw this as a way out of our difficulty, but we were told that there was no boat at the crossing, as the crossing was never thought to be of sufficient importance to maintain one. After finishing breakfast that morning, we were all assembled on the banks of the stream. We noticed that Emal, Jast, and Nepro, with 4 others of our party, were talking with the 5 strangers. Jast came to us and said they would like to cross with the others to the camp on the other side of the stream, as they had decided to wait until the next morning to see if the water showed signs of receding. Of course, our curiosity was aroused, and we thought it rather foolhardy to attempt to swim a stream as swift as the one before us, just to make a friendly call upon a neighbor. We felt that swimming was the only way the crossing could be accomplished. When Jast rejoined the group, the 12, fully dressed, walked to the bank of the stream, and with the utmost composure stepped on the water. Not into it. I never shall forget my feeling as I saw each one of these 12 men step from solid ground onto the running water. I held my breath, expecting, of course, to see them plunge beneath and disappear. I found afterwards that that was the thought of all our party. At the time, I think each of us held his breath until they were all past midstream. So astonished were we to see those 12 men walking calmly across the surface of the stream without the least inconvenience, and not sinking below the soles of their sandals. When they stepped from the water to the farther bank, I felt that tons of weight had been lifted off my shoulder, and I believe this was the feeling of every one of our party, judging from the sighs of relief as the last man stepped ashore. It certainly was an experience that words fail to describe. The 7 belonging to our party returned for lunch. While the excitement was not so intense at the second crossing, every one of us breathed more freely when the 7 were safe on shore again. Not one of our party had left the bank of the stream that forenoon. There was very little discussion regarding what we had witnessed, so engrossed were we with our own thoughts. It was decided that we would be obliged to make the detour to bridge in order to cross the stream. We were up early next morning, ready to proceed on the long detour. Before we started, 52 of the company walked calmly down to the stream and across, the same as the 12 had done the day before. We were told that we would be able to cross with them, but none of us had the faith to make the attempt.